Hi everyone! Welcome to Null Math Learning, my YouTube channel. Today our math lesson and tutorial is all about ellipses with center at HK. In this video, I will show you the best technique of finding the center, vertices, co-vertices, and endpoints of latus rectum in which are essentials in graphing the ellipse. Also, the transforming of equations from standard to general forms and vice versa. Let us proceed. Ellipse with center at HK where the major axis is the x-axis or the orientation is horizontal. So, paano man natin malalaman ng orientation ay horizontal? Titingnan nyo lang ang denominator ng standard form of the ellipse. Kung nasaan yung malaking number, ang variable na nasa itaas nun, yun ang reference ng orientation. So here, a squared is bigger than b squared at nasa taas ng a ay x. It means horizontal. The major axis is the x-axis. How to find for a? Get the square root of a squared. For b, get the square root of b squared. And for c, we have the square root of a squared minus b squared. Then, to find for the center, it's the opposite of negative h for x and the opposite of negative k for y. That's the center. Then after that, you can get the vertices, the co-vertices, the foci, and the endpoints of the latus rectum. Ito yung mga importanteng parts sa pag-graph ng ellipse. We have here the sample of the graph horizontal. Ellipses with center at HK, where the major axis is the y-axis or the orientation is vertical. Here, the denominator of the variable y is bigger than the denominator of variable x. Kaya doon nakalagay ang a sa ilalim ng variable y. So we have the same, where c is equal to the square root of a squared minus b squared. And take note that a is greater than b. And we have also the center, the vertices, the co-vertices, the foci, and the endpoints of the latus rectum. We have here a sample orientation of the graph. The general form of the equation of an ellipse is ax squared plus cy squared plus dx plus ey plus f equals 0, where a, c is greater than 0 and a is not equal to c, where the center is also at hk. Take note that there is a shortcut to get for the center. We have the coordinate negative d over 2a, then for the y-coordinate negative e over 2c, or getting the derivative of all the variable with x and the derivative of all the variable with y, equate it to 0 and solve for the value of x and solve for the value of y. That's the center of the ellipse. Let's proceed to our first example. Given the equation of an ellipse in standard form, which is the square of x minus 2 over 25 plus the square of y plus 1 over 9 is equal to 1. Our first step here is to find the value of a, b, and c. So how to find for the value? Whatever the bigger denominator, when you get the square root, and that's the value of a. So square root of 25 is 5, that's the value of a. And the smaller number or denominator is the square root is the value of b. So square root of 9 is 3, that's the value of b. How to find for the value of c? We use the formula. C is equal to the square root of a squared minus b squared. So 25 minus 9 is 16. And square root of 16 is 4. So that's the value of c. We have now the value of a, b, and c. Let's proceed to the different parts of an ellipse. we will proceed first to the center. How to get for the center? So this one, the opposite of 8, negative 2 is positive 2, and the opposite of 1 is negative 1, and that's the value of our center. Now, I will apply here, or we will apply here, technique on how to get the value of the vertices, the co-vertices, the foci, and the endpoints of the latus rectum, so that you will remember it easily. Now, let's proceed first to the co-vertices. How to get for the co-vertices? Remember that the leading variable here with the bigger denominator is x. So, the variable na may malaking denominator ay x. Therefore, yung value doon ng x sa center, yun ang kukopyahin sa co-vertices. Kaya, kukopyahin sa co-vertices yung value ng center kung ano yung variable na nasa baba ay malaki. So, malaki ang 25, ang nasa taas ay x. Therefore, yung x ng center ay kukopyahin sa co-vertices. At yung y ng co-vertices ay i-add yung yung b. Kasi for the co-vertices is b. Okay? I-add. So, therefore, here, our formula is k plus or minus b. Tandaan ha? B. B for the co-vertices. And we have, kukopyahin 2. Bakit ito naging 2 sa y-coordinate? Because we have negative 1 plus 3. And like sign is 2. And negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. Okay, let's proceed to vertices. How to find for the vertices? Take note, kung sa co-vertices, ang kinopya ay yung x value ng center, sa vertices naman, ang kukopyahin natin ay yung y value. Yung y value ang kukopyahin, at yung x value ay i-add sa a. Yung h plus or minus a. Therefore, our vertices, we have 7, negative 1. Bakit 7? We have 2 plus 5 is 7, and 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Okay. So, these are the two vertices. How about for the foci? The same. Kukopyahin natin yung kagaya ng kinopya sa vertices. Kasi ang vertices and foci, collinear. So, kukopyahin natin to the same here. At yung sa y ay, we add the center value to C. Okay. Our center is 2 plus 4 is 6, negative 1. And 2 minus 4 is negative 2. That's our center. Now, how about for the endpoints of the latus rectum? So, it's opposite. Kung kinopya na natin sa foci ang y value, dito naman ang kukopyahin natin ay yung x value. Tandaan ha, kukopyahin yung 6 at negative 2 ang kukopyahin. Dalawang 6, dalawang negative 2. How about for the y value? We have the formula to get for the endpoints of the latus rectum. We have y is k, k plus or minus b squared over a. It's always b squared over a. K plus or minus b squared over a. So, paano yon? We have here the computation. Our k is negative 1 plus or minus our b squared is 9 over our a is 5. When we simplify, that's negative 5. How? 5 times negative 1 is negative 5 plus or minus 9. Unlike sign you subtract, that is 4 over 5. Or negative 5, negative 9 is negative 14 over 5. So, ito yung dalawang value ng y-coordinate of the endpoints of the latus rectum, while 6 and negative 2 for the x-coordinate. That is why we have here 6, 4 over 5, 6, negative 14 over 5. And negative 2, 4 over 5, negative 2, negative 14 over 5. The next, make now a Cartesian coordinate plane. plot the center, that is 2, negative 1 here. Then, the vertices, we have 7, negative 1, and negative 3, negative 1. Then, the co-vertices, we have 2, 2, and then 2, negative 4. Then we have the foci, we have 6, negative 1, and negative 2, negative 1. And the endpoints of the latus rectum, we have 6 and 4 over 5, and negative 2, 4 over 5. We have 6, negative 14 over 5, and negative 2, negative 14 over 5. Then connect the ellipse using these black dots. Itong may black dots lang ang i-connect natin to form an ellipse. That's the ellipse of the given standard form of the equation. Now, our next step is on how to transform this standard form to general form. So we have the given standard form. Your first step is to expand the square of the binomial. You're going to expand the numerator, and copy only the denominator. I will already discuss this. This is the square of the binomial. The shortcut is square of the first term. X times x is x squared. Multiply the two terms times the exponent, that is negative 4x. Then multiply the last term. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. So we have x squared minus 4x plus 4. Y times y is y squared. Y times 1 is y. Times 2 is 2y. 1 times 1 is 1. You copy only the denominator 25, and 9 is equal to 1. Your next step is to multiply all throughout by the LCD. The LCD is the LCM of the denominator, 25 times 9. Ang shortcut dito, itong 9, i-multiply lang dito sa 3 terms ng first term. Okay? Multiply to x squared, 9 times negative 4x, 9 times 4. At itong 25 na, i-multiply man naman dito sa y. 25 times y squared, 25 times 2y, 25 times 1. Then 25 times 9, i-multiply dito sa 1. So we have this. So 9x squared minus 36x times plus 36 plus 25y squared plus 50y plus 25 equals 225. Next step is arrange the terms according to general form and simplify. Lahat ng yung may square muna, 9x squared, then follow this, 25y squared, then followed by my x minus 36x, followed by y plus 50y, then simplify the constant. 36 plus 25 minus 225 equals 0. Then simplify the constant. So we have now negative 164. So you just copy 9x squared plus 25y squared minus 36x minus 164 plus 50y is the general form of the ellipse. Let's proceed to the second example. Another example, given the equation of ellipse in standard form, we have the square of x minus 3 over 4 plus the square of y minus 6 over 25 equals 1. Here, you're going to find the value of a, b, and c as our first step. A is the square root of the bigger number, which is 25. Square root of 25 is 5. For b, the smaller denominator, square root of 4 is 2. That's the value of b. And for c, we have the square root of 25 minus 4, which is square root of 21. That is our c. Then, write the center. Our center is the opposite of negative 3 and negative 6. So we have 3, 6. Now, to get for the vertices, our reference is the center. Whatever the bigger number in the equation, kung ano yung corresponding variable sa itaas, yun ang kukopyahin na value ng center. So this is y. So sa y, kukopyahin ang co-vertices, itong 6. Okay? So kukopyahin yung 6 at yung sa x ay you apply h, ito, 3, plus or minus b, the value of b. Okay, for co-vertices, laging b. So we have 3 plus 2 is 5, 6. 3 minus 2 is 1, 6. Then how about for the vertices? It's the opposite. Kung kinopya sa y for co-vertices, sa vertices ay sa x kokopyahin. So we have here 3, and then for y is, we have k plus or minus a. Pag vertices, a ang katumbas niya. Take note, vertices a, co-vertices b, then foci c. So we have here k plus or minus a. Therefore, our vertices, we have 3, 6 plus 5 is 11. 3, 11. 6 minus 5 is 1. So, 3, 1. For the foci, the same. Kukopyahin yung x. At we have k plus minus c for y. We have 3. Then, 6 plus the square root of 27. And 3, 6 minus square root of 21. 21 po, hindi 27. Then, for the endpoints of the latus rectum, tatandaan nyo na lang reference itong foci. Kinopya niya yung x dito, yung y ang kukopyahin. Itong 6 plus the square root of 21, dalawa nun. At 6 minus square root of 21, dalawa din nun. Okay? Then, how about for the x value? We have the formula to get for the x value of the endpoints of the latus rectum. Laging b squared over a at katumbas niya yung h. So, we have h plus or minus b squared over a. We have the computation here. So, we have our h is 3 plus or minus b squared is 4 over 5. Then we simplify, 15 plus 4 is 19 over 5, or 15 minus 4 is 11 over 5. So itong dalawa ang kapartner ng 6 plus the square root of 21, at itong dalawa din ang kapartner ng 6 minus square root of 21. So we have, remember, we have 4 endpoints of latus rectum because we have 2 latus recta. Then, to graph, make now a Cartesian coordinate plane. Plot the center. We have 3, 6. And then, the vertices. So, we have 3, 1, and 3, 11. The co-vertices, we have 5, 6, 1, 6. And we have the foci, 3, 6 plus the square root of 21. And 3, 6 minus the square root of 21, and we have the endpoints of the latus rectum. So we have 2, and then we have another 2 endpoints of latus rectum. Then connect all the black dots to form an ellipse, and that's the ellipse of the given equation of in standard form. Then how to change the standard form to general form? First is to expand the square of the binomial of the numerator. We have x squared minus 6x plus 9 plus y squared minus 12y plus 36. Kinopya lang yung denominator. Next is multiply all throughout by the LCD. The LCD is the LCM of the denominator. 4 times 25. So, ang technique lang dito, itong 25, i-multiply sa x squared minus 6x plus 9. At itong 4, i-multiply sa y squared minus 12y plus 36. Equals to 4 times 25, i-multiply sa 1. Then, after that, rearrange the terms according to the general form and simplify. Ang general form natin ay nauna yung x 25x squared, then followed by yung y squared plus 4y squared, then followed by with x, negative 150x, followed by y, negative 48y, then simplify the constant, 225 plus 144, transpose 100 to the left, maging negative 100, and we have the answer, 25x squared plus 4y squared minus 150x minus 48y plus 269 equals 0. This is now the general form of an ellipse. Let's proceed to example number 3. This time is the given is in general form. 9x squared plus 4y squared minus 54x plus 16y plus 61 equals 0. We have here two options. The shortcut of changing the general to standard or the step-by-step of changing this to standard form. So we apply first the step-by-step. First, transform the given to standard by group the terms with the same variables and complete it to form a perfect square trinomial. So, i-group po natin yung 9x squared, negative 54x plus blank. Then, another group, yung 4y squared plus 16y plus blank equals transpose 61 to the other side, maging negative 61. Plus blank blank. The first blank is for x, the second blank is for y. The next is factor its group by the leading coefficient and complete the third term. So ilalabas natin itong 9. Dapat ang katabi ng x squared ay 1. Same for y squared, ang katabi ay 1. Ilalabas natin yung 4. So 9 times the quantity of blank plus 4 times the quantity of blank equals negative 61 plus 9. Kung anong nilabas natin na factor, imo-multiply din natin dito. Then for y is 4, imo-multiply din natin ng 4. So how to get for the term inside the parentheses? You just divide it. 9x squared divide 9 is x squared. 54 divide 9 is 6x. Then paano nakuha itong 9? Diba 6? Divide it by 2, that's always the technique. Yung middle term, divide it by 2, then square. 6 divided 2 is 3, 3 times 3 is 9. Same here. So 4xy squared divide 4 is y squared. 16y divide 4 is 4y. Then how to get 4? The middle term is 4, divide it always by 2, then square. So 2 times 2 is 4. Then, itong 9, ito na po. Then, itong 4, this 1. Simplify the right side. And also, write the PST as square of a binomial. Itong nasa loob ng parenthesis, we square it of a binomial. So, 9 times the square of the binomial plus 4 times the square of the binomial equals 36. When we simplify the right side, that's 36. How to get for the binomial here? Just get the square root of x squared. We have x. Copy the sign of the middle term, negative. Square root of 9 is 3. So, x minus 3. Then here, square root of 9 square, y squared is y. Copy the plus sign. Then, square root of 4 is 2. So, we have x minus 3 and then y plus 2. After that, ang task natin, ang dapat, ang nasa right side ay 1. Laging 1 ang nasa right side as standard form of the ellipse. So, ang ganong gagawin, magdi-divide tayo ng 36. Since nag-divide tayo sa right side, you divide also in the left side. There are two terms, so you divide all by 36. To make the right side of the equation equals 1, divide all throughout by 36. So, 9 divide 36 is 1 over 4. Or 36 divide 9 is 4. Yun ang denominator. Okay? So, we have here x minus 3 squared over 4. 36 divide 4 is 9. That's the denominator. Okay. So, I'll repeat. 36 divide 36 is 1. 36 divide 4 is 9. 36 divide 9 is 4. And you copy x minus 3 squared plus the square of y plus 2 squared. Step 2. Since we're done, we have already the standard form of the equation, which is the square of x minus 3 over 4 plus the square of y plus 2 over 9 equals 1. So our next step is to determine now the value of a, b, and c because we will graph the equation. The value of a is the square root of the bigger denominator. Square root of 9 is 3. So that's the value of a. The value of b is the square root of the smaller denominator. Square root of 4 is 2. Then to get for the value of c, we have the square root of 9 minus 4 is equal to the square root of 5. We have now a, b, and c. Therefore, we are ready for the coordinates. We will get first the center. The center is the opposite of negative 3 for x. Positive 2, the opposite is negative 2. So we have the center, positive 3, negative 2. Now, for the co-vertices first. To get for the co-vertices, I said, ang technique niyan ay whatever the bigger denominator, yung variable sa taas, yon ang reference. Kukopyahin po ang center na same value ng variable or same sa variable. This is y, meaning so y ang kukopyahin ng center. Then sa x is h, kukopyahin yung 3 plus b or 3 minus b. So h plus or minus b. We have 3 plus 2 is 5, negative 2. 3 minus 2 is 1, negative 2. How about for the vertices? It's the opposite. Kung kinopya dito ang y, dito naman ay x. How about for y is we have k plus or minus a. Because it's vertices, it's always referring to a. Pag co-vertices, referring to b. Pag focus, referring to c. So, hindi makalimutan ha. Vertices, we have k plus or minus a. We have 3, negative 2 plus a is 1. So, 3, 1. And then, negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. So, 3, negative 5. For the foci, same, kukopyahin yung x. Then, we have k plus or minus c. So, we have 3, negative 2 plus the square root of 5. 3, negative 2 minus the square root of 5. Then, for the endpoints of the latus rectum, ang reference natin ay yung focus. Ang kukopyahin dito, yung kabaliktaran ng kinopya ng sa foci. So, meaning itong negative 2 plus the square root of 5 and negative 2 minus the square root of 5, yan ang kukopyahin natin. So, dalawang negative 2 plus the square root of 5 and 2 also negative 2 minus the square root of 5. How about for the x value? We have here always the formula. So, meron ito laging b squared over a. Since it's in the x value, so we have the center plus or minus b squared over a. Ang center na x value ay 3. So, meaning h value plus or minus b squared over a. We have 3 plus or minus 4 is b squared. A is 3. When we simplify, we have 13 over 3 or 5 over 3. So, we have 13 over 3, negative 2 plus the square root of 5. 5 over 3, negative 2 plus the square root of 5. 13 over 3, itong negative naman. Then, 5 over 3, yung negative naman. Next is plot the center on the Cartesian coordinate plane. We have 3, negative 2. And the vertices, we have 3, 1, and 3, negative 5. We have the co-vertices, 5, negative 2, and 1, negative 2. Then the foci, we have 2. And the endpoints of the latus rectum, we have also 2. So there are 4. Then connect all with black dots to form an ellipse. So that's the ellipse of the given equation. Another example is, given the equation in general form x squared plus 36y squared minus 14x minus 216y plus 337 equals 0. Our first step is to change the general form to standard form by grouping with the same variable and complete it to form a perfect square trinomial. I-grupo natin lahat na may variable x. We have x squared minus 14x plus blank. Then, yung may y naman, 36y squared minus 216y plus blank equals the constant transposed to the other side. This is positive, maging negative. The first blank is for x, pareho silang value. The second blank is for y, pareho silang value. Next step is to factor its group by the leading coefficient and complete the third term. So, for the first, the coefficient is 1, so no need to factor. Okay na yan. Pag may coefficient na hindi siya 1, yun ang ifa-factor natin. Here, 36y squared, dapat 1y squared. So, we factor it by 36. So, we have 36 times the quantity of blank. While here, for the first term, ay makukuha na natin ang third term. Kasi 1 na siya. So, you always divide the middle coefficient. 14 divided by 2, always divide it by 2. 14 divided 2 is 7. Then, square it. 7 times 7 is 49. Yon. Then, ito na yung 49. The next, how to get for the middle, this one, yung factor ng 36 for y. So, we have 36y squared divide 36 is y squared. Negative 216y divide 36 is negative 6y. Paano nakuha ang 9? Just divide this middle term 6 by 2. So, 6 divided is 3, then square. 3 times 3 is 9. Yun din ang ilalagay dito. 9. Then, simplify the right side and write this trinomial as the square of a binomial. So, like this. We have the square of the blank plus 36 times the square of the blank. When we simplify negative 61 plus 49 plus 36 times 9, that's only 36. And get the square root of x squared is x minus square root of 49 is 7. Yes. Square root of y squared is y. Square root of 9 is 3. Then just copy the sign of the middle term. Ito na po yon. The next is, dapat yung nasa right side ay 1. So we divide all the terms by 36. To make the right side of the equation equals 1, divide all throughout by 36. 36 divide 36 is 1. 36 divide 36 is 1. So, ang nasa denominator ng square of y minus 3 is 1. Then, 36 divide 1 is 36. So, yun ang denominator nitong x minus 7. And this is now the general or the standard form of the given ellipse. Since 1 lang naman yung denominator ng y, so kahit alisin na natin yung denominator. The next step here is to determine the value of A, B, and C and complete all the coordinates which are very essential in graphing the ellipse. So we have this standard form. We now determine the value of A, B, and C. Our A is the bigger denominator, 36. Square root is 6. That's the value of A. Since walang denominator itong second term, it means that the denominator is 1. So, square root of 1 is 1. That's our B. Then, for C is, just get the difference of this inside the radical sign. So, square root of 36 minus 1 is square root of 35. That's the value of C. Then, our next is, copy now the center. Our center is, the opposite of negative 7 is 7. And opposite of negative 3 is 3. So, 7, 3. To get for the coordinate of the co-vertices, so ang variable na may malaking denominator ay x. Yun ang kokopyahin sa x. Yan. Ang sa y, we have k plus or minus b. Okay? So we have 7, 4, we have 7, 2. For the vertices, it's opposite. Yung y naman ang kokopyahin. Yung x, we have h plus or minus a. Pag vertices, a. So, we have the value 13, 3, and 1, 3. For the focus, the same, yung y ang kukopyahin. And then, yung x, we have h plus or minus c. Okay, so we have the value now 7 plus the square of 35, 3. 7 minus the square of 35, 3. Then for the endpoints of the latus rectum, sa x naman ang kukopyahin natin, dalawang 7 plus the square of 35. At yung sa sa k, we have k plus or minus b squared over a. We have here the computation, 3 for the center y value, and then 1 is the square of b over a, which is 6. When we simplify, it's 19 over 6 or 17 over 6. And we have now the coordinates of the latus rectum. We have 7 plus the square of 35, 19 over 6. 7 plus the square of 35, 17 over 6. And 7 minus the square of 35, 19 over 6. 7 minus the square of 35, 17 over 6. Then to graph, plot the center, we have 7, 3. The vertices, we have 1, 3, 13, 3. And the co-vertices, we have 7, 4, and 7, 2. We have the foci, and we have the endpoints of the latus rectum. There are 4. Then connect all the black dots to form an ellipse. So that's an ellipse form of the given equation. So we have a shortcut on how to change general form to standard form. Okay, this is another way of transforming equation to standard form from general form. So your first step is to get the center of the ellipse. To get the center, we have the formula. We have negative d over 2a, negative e over 2a, and we have this. Then the answer is 7, 3. But there is a shortcut of this if you don't like to get this. We are only, this one is by applying derivative. The derivative of all terms with x and the derivative of all terms with y and solve for x and y. Paano yon? Ganito. Itong x squared and negative 14x, get the derivative, we have 2x minus 14. Transpose to the other side, positive 14. Divide 2 is 7. So it's like that. Then here, 36 times 2 is 72. Equals 216. 216 divided 72 is 3. That is why that's the center. So we have here. So take note of the coefficient of the leading variable. The leading variable is x. So the leading term is x squared. The coefficient is 1, so 1 dito. For y is 36, that is why may 36 dito. Now, ang reference natin ay itong 1. Paano itong? So, to get for the number at the right side, so you transpose positive 337 to the other side, became negative 337 plus 49. Paano na kung 49? 14. Itong sa x, 14 divide to 7, square it is 49. Then 216 divide 36 is 6. Then divide it by 2, always by 2 is 3, square it is 9. That is why we have here, when you simplify, is 36. Then, itong square of a binomial, ganun na po. So, just get the square root of x. So, x, then itong minus, the opposite of 7 is negative 7. Then, y, the opposite of 3 is negative 3. Then, square it. Ang next step is to divide. Kung ano yung nasa right side, which is 36, yun ang i-divide lahat ng terms. So, 36 divide 36 is 1. Then, 36 divide 36 is 1 here. 36 divide 1 is 36. So, 36 is the denominator. That's 1. And this is the standard form of the given ellipse. Or you can remove 1 as denominator because it's a whole number. So, this is the standard form. Okay, thank you so much. Please click the link button and comment if you like the video. Thank you. Bye-bye.